Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our artist talk this afternoon. So we got TEHO ROPEYARN, the exhibition for him here, traversing three realms: the physical, natural, and spiritual. Sorry, I should have done this before. Firstly, I want to acknowledge the traditional landowners on the land where we are gathered for work. And also like to pay my respects to the elders, past and emerging. My name is David Noah Jr. and I am the curator at NorthSite Contemporary Arts. And I am from the Torres Strait, so from Murray Island, so me and Tio got a connection there, great family. But so happy to be a part of this exhibition, especially through the processes where we organize all this exhibition to happen here. So I might get Tio and brother-in-law, Graham, if they can introduce themselves first, and then can follow by, if you can talk about the exhibition.
Sure. Okay. My name is Graham Brady. I don't know how much should be taken up this talk, but son-in-law, ngalayin, Tio, ngako ngalayin, my son-in-law, and we have a very strong connection through that arrangement of son-in-law and father-in-law. I need to say this one from the beginning to help tie in what I are about to sort of lead us through. And I will take a small bit of time and Tio will take over from me. Yakrobako Bama Mumma Jehovah Manajiga Jana. Jehovah God made man and woman from the beginning. Come through that one, Ngalayen, that married Junamunundo. Bama Mumma, man and woman, been joined together in our marriage, Manyar that has created this relationship that I talk on behalf of Ngalayan Ngako, my son-in-law. Very special relationships. These are relationships that go back to the endless eras of time of human being existence. All human beings understand this one, family arrangement. And for me to talk first in regards to my help or my way of transferring knowledge within the family arrangement. Spirit is the one that have dictated the existence of human beings. So it is only right and proper that we sit within the artworks of both the spiritual and the physical. These things make up the purpose of life. And purpose of life is expressed in arts, like you see here, especially with Tio's art. His art reflects the physical and the spiritual, both within and without human existence. All human beings can understand this one. And all expressive ways of art can reflect how people feel, how we understand, and we adapt to one another as individuals. Theo is married to myself and my wife Jasmine, to our daughter, and that has culminated in one special form of art piece. It is the one here, this big one here, that you see. Small story, how this began. COVID made their living arrangements unworkable. So what has happened is that they were told to leave their place and come live with us. Very normal way to do. And Theo, Leland, his wife, our daughter, and their 3 children stayed with us for about, going on to about 8-9 months now. And within that time, Theo erected his gazebo at the back for his work. And because his work takes up a very large space, the backyard was appropriate for him to do that. Because the work area entails a lot of area to move around. I used to watch Theo as he goes throughout the intricate designs on the linos that are transferred and then are printed out. I would go down there and say to Theo, how are you going? He would say, yeah, I'm all right. I'm going along fine. But there were times when I could see it in his eyes. Time was getting shorter and shorter. He wanted to create a large piece, a large work of art that reflected his birthright. I seen it in the eyes and I said to Theo, my boy, if you need any help, I'll help you. He accepted my help. And so we started work on this one here. His birthright, his birth certificate. His language, he will say what he calls for this art piece. It took a good few months for us to try and get our heads around what he wanted to achieve, how I would help, what would I contribute. I had to go back into my own understanding, how I was taught. And one simple way how to transfer this on to you is that through this way here. Bama Bamara. What that means is that Cape York people, we're all interconnected. We are Bama people. B-A-M-A. Bama Bamara. Nyuban Gaji. We are all one mob. And I thought back and I said, this is the way that I should help Theo. It's because that our understanding will be beneficial into doing this, my help with him to do it right. I could not put my understanding there as an individual because it would be wrong. We had to connect in that our understanding, Bama Bamara, how we all understand one another here in the Cape. I am Gogo Yalanji. I'm from the middle or just below the middle part of the Cape. Jibra and Gogo Yalanji, Western people. And because of this understanding, that is what I brought. I brought with me the understanding that I was taught and how we interconnect, how we integrate, how we share language, thought, feelings, and how we make sure that the traditions of each other are respected, and the traditions and the understanding, and especially the spirituality of our people, are brought out within an art piece. I want this to be confronting, you reckon, old man? I said, whoa, this is very heavy-duty stuff now. How would I contribute? Within his art piece, he mentioned this to me. He said the interconnection between spirit and human. Bama people, we look at animals, we look at landscape, we look at the sky, we look at the water as all intricate parts. Here's something to consider. The earth is 70% water and 30% land. Our human bodies are 70% water and 30% flesh. So we can have this understanding from understanding how we use our knowledge to portray physical and spiritual things. How am I going to help him? My clan people are turtle, freshwater turtle. My clan people are dingo people. My clan people are goanna people. And my clan people are crocodile. When you look about there, where my country, Split Rock, outside of Laura, the Quincan galleries, you will notice this, that there are generations of contributors to that rock art. Over generations, people have left their mark. So there are overlapping designs, and these things have meaning for that particular time, in that particular understanding of that person that put his mark there. So I have to put all that into consideration. The best way that I could come up with is the way my people display their people as both spiritual and physical beings. And I said to Tia, you let me take the figures and I'll lend my understanding and see what happens. Turtle, Mujay, we call that one. He has his language. And I said, this is the way we portray this one, as both a man, a spirit, and an animal. He even turned around to me and said, yes, that's the same way we do it. So I started drawing out the interconnections between our people, Bama people, and how we portray these feelings. Dingo? Yeah. Very, very, you could say, an animal that has high esteem. That dingo, we call him Gaia in our language. Gaia is also a man that travels too. So we have that understanding together. Goanna, same way. Crocodile, Bilkamo, our language, same way. They have both qualities of spirit, of the physical, and of the human being. So I told Tia, I said, I see it like this. This is the way that my people would portray it. So we both got to work. As you can see, they are very large pieces. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And we had to make them, Teo said to me, I want these to be striking, I want them to be confronting, because the viewer has to know what we are trying to tell them. Using my Gogoyarandi understanding, coupled with Teo's Ingenual understanding, this is what we came up with. So these are the styles of integration of both Tip and Central Cape York people. Bamara. This is how we have operated for centuries. The centuries of understanding, the centuries of marriage. How our people integrated, had children, and formed large families. We are never strangers here in the Cape. We are actually all related. That's the word, Bamara. And that is the way I wanted to bring my understanding to my son-in-law, Teo. So me and we went to work. No big easel, no big what's name, all flat on the ground. The same way our old people used to do our painting. On a rock, different. You can stand it, but we had no rock to paint on. We had an liner to draw on, sorry. And these figures started to come to life. They actually started to make a character for themselves. So by the time we finished that turtle figure of his clan group, he took on a whole new meaning. He became his own character, his own person. Dingo became his own person. Goanna became his own person. Crocodile became his own person. They have all unique characters. And for Teo to guide me through and say, I want the expressions that seem like this. I have a background in the arts as well. So I tried my best, and I reckon, hey, my boy, have a look at that. What's that one like? Oh, yeah, we can bring him over here like this. Oh, we can make him taller. We can make that head go this way. Because he's saying something to this fella. And this fella's saying something to this fella. Hey, look out, they all family now. Isn't family supposed to be talking to one another? And that is what we tried to create. Or should I say, this is what we created, but during the process, how we tried to make them all complement one another. So these are the characters that have come to life in my mind and in Teo's mind. So we have our joint effort going on here, and the joint effort started to really make me, as a person, make me start to think, whoa, something is happening here. Because I've never done this type of work before. But for Teo to ask me to contribute to this art, it was an honor, a great honor. My boy, you have actually taken me out of my shell. I haven't done art in a long, long time. And for him to say to me, oh, Dad, oh, father-in-law, help me in this one here. I've only got a short amount of time. I said, yeah, my boy, I'll help you. Bring together two ancient and unique family cultures has culminated in what you see here. Special are the works of my son-in-law, Teo. He has a genuine heart. He has a creative heart. He has an eye for perfection. This is what he has brought out in me. Oh man, we make him like this, we go like this. I said, yeah, my boy, guide me through this. Because my Gogoyarandi mind telling me I gotta go this way. No more. He said, yeah, keep that one here, bring him around this way. So we started to integrate our thoughts. or each character came to life. As we were going along, we started off with Turtle. Dingo Man come along then, rain started to come. We underneath our carport, doing the design on the lino, and then he would take it under his gazebo and start carving them out. All throughout the 3 months, it rained. It just kept on raining, wouldn't stop. He tried our best to keep things up out of the water. He done his best to keep on wiping down the lino. Yeah. It was a very trying time to try and keep our thoughts on the art piece, but also to make sure that we were true to its form. So we had the rain element happening. We had the children element happening. We had the families coming and going. These were distractions they actually added to our thoughts. My grandchildren, TEHO children, and others would come and have a look. Oh, what Uncle TEHO doing, what they're doing here. Hey, Ngaji, what's that one there? I don't know yet. I'm still going. So we had their enthusiasm as well. So we kept on picking up on all this, and all the time it kept on raining. Come hard, stop a little bit, and then come again. Stop a little bit, and then kept on raining. By the time we finished that last fellow there on the end there, that crocodile, clan figure, the rain was still there, never went away. It came time for him to roll up all these things. This is over a 3 and a bit months of very concentrated work. He rolled them up. He sent them down to Brisbane for it to get printed. That rain went to Brisbane. Big flood in Brisbane. All right, yeah, coincidence. Okay, we leave it at that. When the person, what was his name, who done the printing?
David Jones.
David Jones, there, that's a name to remember. After he done the printing, he had to wade through water to hand it on to what do you call them people that pick up?
Gallery.
Yeah, but the one, the freight. Yeah, the freight company that was waiting just above water level. So he had to wade through that with each of these large pieces and give it to the freight person. The freight person then had to take it to the airport and fly it down there for Biennale, his exhibition. By the time he went down there to present his art, big rain down there. Sydney started to flood. That's when we're thinking, hey, this ain't coincidence. No, this thing here must have some real powerful wow with it. Maybe we can think of it like this. When an artist does an art piece, he puts his mind, soul, and effort into his art. Because he's not there just for the sake of who's going to view the art. This is my way of looking at it. But what he is portraying, this is a bit of me. This is all of me. This is part of me. This is who I am. And to reiterate this one, I was very, very privileged. So I'm here talking to you about my experience with my involvement with son-in-law TEHO to produce this dynamic art piece. And now I'm here sitting with you. The sun has come out, the rain has gone, blessings come in many shapes and forms, and I am blessed to sit here with my son-in-law. Ngapo ngalayen, TEHO ROPEYARN, he will say and add to what me and him has achieved.
Thank you, Alpha. Can you hear me? Working? I think I wanted Alpha to talk first because I had my time in the limelight down there in Sydney for the Biennale, to present this work. Alpha couldn't make it down, so me and my wife and family went to Sydney to be there for the opening. And I can't take credit for all of this work. I've said it also for the printer David Jones. The figures, I did the carving, obviously. I came up with the concept. The figures was led by Ofala. So that was his creativity in this work. And then the final stage was in Brisbane, where David Jones, I think, probably had to do the most hardest thing with the block and to print in color, to cut each section out and to ink it up and then print it on his bed. So that's one. I feel it's a big story, and Ofala touched on it really, really well. And I'll just add to what Ofala said. And when we flew to Brisbane, we flew through the storm. The work was in Sydney. We flew through the storm, got to Sydney, and then we had to stay in the plane on the tarmac because of the airport was shutting down and the lightning and everything. I was like, bloody hell, what have I created here? This is part of this weather, and did I do the right thing? Was I supposed to touch on the water and all of that? But with this work, what what was the original idea? It was just because I've got kids, I wanted this work to sort of relate to, kids and cartoon and characters and all of that. So that's what I wanted to show. And then when I collaborated with Alpha, it got a bit more deep and scarier. So I think we just went down the other way. But that was, for a really, really good reason. But the theme of the Biennale was rivers, and it was about river system connection to country and between people and also the land. So as always, Black people are always defending country and water and land, and it's a big thing everywhere now with climate change and no water, and water being diverted to cotton farming and all of that. You're seeing it everywhere around Australia. So it was just a simple idea. I sketched the concept on just one page, very primary school looking image. That's how I work, and that was just simply enough to be able to do all the work on the vinyl itself. And that's how we got to this big work. But as an artist, you got hundreds of other things that are happening all at the same time. We got kids who both work full time, and then you got other projects. So I was invited by Anna Davis from the Museum of Contemporary Arts to participate in the Biennale, and that invitation came to me in I think around March last year, and I didn't start the work, and then 3 months later I got an invitation from Nikki Council at the Art Gallery of South Australia to participate in Tanandi, so it's another Indigenous festival there. And that's where I had to park this idea because Tanandi came first. That was in October, so I had to work on these 3 pieces for that exhibition. And
being inspired from the theme of the Biennale, it made me change the way I think just a little bit, move away from totems and all other stuff and just focus on land and landscape itself. Like, small thing, but it was like a light bulb moment. And all my work is related to country, to Ingenuity, to my life experience and what I've seen growing up. And I touch on that, touch on country and Ingenuity, and brought these three prints together for Tanandi. So behind me, it's just all wet season Cape York, being cut off from overflowing creeks and corrugation. So this is one of the work Ayara that I did for Tanadi, and it just simply looks at water and land, the landscape. I've just got this funny thing that always comes in. I just blend everything into that image, and that's how it comes out as you see it. But this time, with the formation of the land below here, I did plants and other little things from my home, something different. You could always challenge yourself and push your boundaries, and that you can't be doing the same thing all the time. And I brought a mango. So wet season, the mango is fruiting, poinciana tree is flowering, the yam, the pitcher plant, just all the little things from our home. And that inspired the land form below this work. So that's when I first brought out the Cape York lily. And I put that into the land there because that's what you see growing up and going camping and all of that. Then from there, that's what you get here on this side. So it's just that connection from, life experience of being an artist and then producing works. Everything just jumps from one thing to the other. Yeah. Any questions? Because I can talk about anything.
Can you make this another one but for people's sunshine?
That's the next challenge.
Your fingers crossed we don't get flooded in kids. But I think it's a special time too for TEHO, to bring this show here to Cairns. Being as a residential thing for TEHO. But TEHO, can you also explain about the newer works, especially the lilies upside down?
Yeah. So like growing up, going camping and all of that, I'm just trying to bring out little things in life and when we were growing up in Ingenuity, and not getting too caught up with too much conceptual stuff. But that's the Cape York lily. It grows everywhere in country. During rainy season, it fills with water, and then mosquitoes breed in that plant. So, going camping back in the 90s, we didn't have Facebook, all of that stuff, and school holidays, we'd be out camping everywhere. Pachinka, Somerset, Sheldon Bay, out west, and with family. So that was that time where we, got to just experience everything around us. So, and as you do, you develop your works, you look at other things, and put the Cape York lily out to just, to show that connection to country and how we lived and what we did with our family. And you'll see the three at the start on that side on the left, and then one on the right here. I flipped it upside down purely just because we see country differently. Black people, it's not that Western, that's Western, so I turn it upside down to change your mind. And pretty much to say that, there's more than what you see when you're in country and how you navigate and move and yeah. Any other questions?
Going back to this one, you talked about the execution of it, that you started with that little, what you call a primary school.
Okay.
And you've gone to such scale. You've mentioned was there a lot of drawing first, or was it more, I guess it sort of evolved, you said, at that time of actually going to this size. Was there a lot of planning, or did it just start to sort of really come together at that scale no longer?
Yeah, I think as we sort of, that was pretty much just a basic sketch, and then it sort of moved on from there. I had to work with TAFE to use a studio because I needed a bigger space to lay all the panels out, and you can see it's in 6 pieces because that's how long the vinyl flooring I used, and I had to lay that out, or I worked with TAFE to use a studio, and then it progressed from there. Most of the work is done on the block, so as long as I've got some sort of outline and a little bit of details, it progresses from there. And that's when I was running out of time, and old fella said he'd help me, and I did trust him. But it's that thing of you're doing really big work. It's a significant work. It's going to the Biennale, and it just happened naturally. And I'm just forever, grateful that something like this in a big show like that in Sydney, just that connection between Alpha and David Jones in Brisbane makes it really special. Yeah.
They actually took on a life of their own. Especially, I think they can hear me other than a loud voice. I talk loud because I'm deaf in one ear. As Theo was saying, he had an image to work with first, and my mind wanted to get into his mind as well. So when we collaborate together, we are 2 minds working together, and it sounds a bit strange when I say it or explain it like this. Is that that's what we produced, but now it sort of produced itself. It actually took on its own life. I did not know how it was going to be portrayed. It kept on telling me, this my clan people this is the understanding that he holds from his passing down of knowledge, the knowledge transfer of his older people into his mind, and then he transferred that one to me. And then I take from what I understand as the knowledge transfer from my understanding, and I transfer it to him. 2 things, dynamics are occurring here at this time. I think with the blend and that feeling that was operating at that time, that's when these figures started to take on a life of their own. It's not that it was automatic, a hand guiding me here or something. No. Ancient knowledge, ancient practices at work in 21st century. It has never left us. It will never leave us. It is portrayed for what it is, but with a 21st century mind. So ancient practices being folded and blended, and understanding between tip of the Cape and bottom central of the Cape. That's who we are, and that is what started to come out with me as an individual. And I'll say this again just to make sure that you have got it. It took a life of its own. So when we put them up, on the swing. We had now a big easel or something to see what comes. We just hang them up over that swing there and have a look and step back and say, whoa, man, I didn't know that was happening. This is something, you know. And as I was saying, each character, each figure took on its own character, its own meaning, and hopefully this is what TEHO has envisaged deep within himself. Because I don't know how this was going to go. All I just used was my whole understanding of this is the way we portray things. I think mainly with the old people, ancestor time, when they put their mark on them rock, when they put their mark on their body, when they put their mark on their tree, their shield, they were up their drum, that mark has a significance, as a bridge between the conscious and the subconscious, the spiritual and the physical. So when we bring these elements together, they form a life of their own.
Anybody? Tim?
No, I just want to say, like I like listening to Ofala every day because we're living there now with them and just the knowledge and wisdom. So I was really looking forward to today. So Alpha, can you explain from his to the knowledge and understanding how this work came to be and yeah, we listen to me every morning at home. So, yeah.
Tia, tell them your birthright painting. What's that name?
So the language element here, we don't have a language. I had to work with Xavier Barker from Power Language group to come up with the language, to learn it and then write the story and then record it. There is an audio recording soundscape that goes with this work, and I had to relearn the language. I didn't know words, body parts, and little things growing up. So this is original Aboriginal language because we speak Creole. But it's through Xavier Barker I got to work with him to use language and use it properly, and then use the old language because we use a common language these days, and that common language is from three of the clan groups. So Atumo paper Adinonamu is my birth certificate, and that's the language name we gave to this work because it speaks of from me in my country who I am in relation to the birth certificate, the Australian birth certificate. So that was the title of it. Just sums up who I am, where I'm from.
You and Uncle have been explaining about the figures. I'm just looking at that snake. Can you explain the top bit there?
Yeah, so what you see in this work sort of captures everything from country. You got the traditional stories, information of the land. So the carpet snake is symbolic, as well as the rainbow serpent, and I brought this all together because of the 4 clan group, and we're actually interconnected to one another. You see the 2 waterfalls on the end there, that is part of the Jardine River. So I don't know if you know the Jardine River, but that's the longest perennial river system in Queensland. And it falls off the Great Dividing Range. And the headwater, when you see from the top, it looks like the head of a snake. And the two waterfall is the eye, and it comes around, joins in front, and it forms the mouth of the snake, and then that's just that body of water that travels through the country. So bringing water, and obviously where there's water, there's people, and yeah. So it's just capturing everything to do with country, to do with the four clan groups and my people.
With your outstanding works, it's not your traditional black and white line prints. I take notice you like to practice like with your colors now, like especially like with the maroon, black and like that white there happening within your designs. Can you explain like about the colors too?
Yeah, so as a printmaker, our traditional color is just black and white, and I've all my early works are all black and white. I couldn't process it in my head how I would use color within my works. It just didn't work for some reason, and I just only saw my work as being in black and white. But later on, I started bringing red in and then associating color with country. So the red is the red, and David had to mix this red. It's the same color to country and the soil, and the red is also in Ingenu and across northern Cape York. The black is that boldness that I like, and that's you see a lot of that in my work, and colors started coming out of the three works I did for Adelaide. And for example, the work behind you is the turquoise and the red. That's the aerial view of Carl Creek, where Ingenu is. That's the blue of the water, the red is the land, and I don't use any other colors. It has that reason and meaning. And I did the same for the Cape York lily, the green and the pink for the flower. So that's where colors come into play.
Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
Side to side.
Yeah.
Family discount.
90% discount.
For a finger discount? No.
We do take laybys.
Any other questions?
No, thanks though, it was one of the best artist talks I've heard. It's great to hear you.
Thanks, man.
Well, in closing, I'd like to publicly congratulate Theo here. Last space gallery there as part of Theo's agent. But even working with Theo with this exhibition too, was a lot of back and forth communication there. But also for this outstanding one there, I just seen pictures of it, coming through emails there, and then I think when the works got here, Theo came in to sign a few and then explained, it's 7 meters long and then 3.5 high. And I'm thinking, we're going to need a team for this. But glad it all come together, and congratulations, Kabbalah.
Thank you.
So Theo and Michael, to close, you guys got any? Want to close with anything?
Yeah, I hope you appreciate the art that is all around for this week. Kayak, we have wonderful artists up here at Cape York and Ireland, and their expressive views on their part of the country, their understanding on what they would like to pass on to the wider Australia, even the world. But I have one real, you could say like a suggestion. Send this one here over Saudi Arabia or desert, and it might give them rain there.
We'll have to test it.
Test them out. Anybody got any connection to the Arab Emirates? Tell them we have a water featured artwork for site. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.